our recreational fishers.
Order. The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Dawson.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm very surprised this motion has even been raised in this place, because what we have here is a Labor government criticising a state government for actually cleaning up Labor's mess in Queensland. The colossal amount of Labor wastes in the resource-rich state of Queensland managed to send the state broke in the middle of the biggest mining boom that the state has ever seen. Such was Labor's track record for economic stupidity. So sick were taxpayers of seeing their tax dollars wasted, they delivered the most crushing electoral defeat on record for Labor. The reality for us Queenslanders is this: every day that we collectively get out of our beds, we have to find $12 million just to pay the interest on the debt legacy that Labor left Queensland. That's $12 million a day, $84 million a week, over $360 million a month. That's over $1 billion a quarter just in interest on Labor's debt. To put it in simple terms, in a bit over 3 days in Queensland, the money we spend on interest alone, not paying off debt, just the interest on Labor's debt, could have been used to build a new school, maybe in Gracemere, near the Capricornia electorate. I know certainly in the member for Flynn's electorate. Every 5 weeks, we spend money enough on interest for Labor's debt to build a new state-of-the-art regional hospital. Perhaps it could have been done to build a new Rockhampton regional hospital. In 6 weeks, the money spent on paying interest on Labor's debt could have paid for a complete upgrade of the Peak Downs Highway in the Capricornia electorate. If you wonder why spending on non-essential needs to be cut, then you have to look no further than the Australian Labor Party. And here we have this Labor government having posted the 4 biggest budget deficits in history, lecturing the Queensland government about how to spend money. What's worse is that Labor would have us believe through this motion that they're somehow the fisherman's friend. Well, what a joke. It's like Wile E. Coyote asking the Roadrunner out for a date, Mr Deputy Speaker. They've got the hide to come in here and pretend to be the friend of the fisherman and try to shift the focus from their own ineptitude. The sheer hypocrisy of it, coming from the same government that cut funding to RecFish, the peak body representing recreational fishers in this nation, on the grounds that the organisation might disagree with them. And Labor are criticising the Queensland government for doing exactly the same thing. What debt did Labor have to pay off to cut the funding to RecFish, the national recreational fishing body? This Labor government is now wasting $100 million of taxpayer funds to shut down commercial fishing and give zero compensation, zero, to recreational fishing throughout all of the marine park closures that they're doing all around Australia. This Labor government actually encouraged a super trawler to come to Australia, and then when the political heat came on, they rewrote the law to give the Environment Minister the power to ban it, but then they also gave him the power to shut down any new fishing activity in Commonwealth waters. These are all purely political motivations, and that is stopping criticism from key stakeholders and pandering to the Greens. Why is it that the Greens, who have but one representative in this House, are driving all the policy decisions? Is it because the Labor Party has no idea what to do? When your only skill is to waste money, you need direction from somewhere, I suppose, but instead of talking with stakeholders, they take their directions from a fringe party whose aim is to shut down every industry in Australia and set civilisation back 1,000 years. Labor and the Greens are not the fisherman's friend. Labor and the Greens have no understanding about recreational fishing. Firmly wedged in their inner-city latte-sipping suburbs, they think that seafood comes from restaurant kitchens and maybe the supermarket. They wouldn't know a potato cod from a potato, and for the benefit of those members opposite, I seek to table documents, potato cod and a potato. That's the difference, Mr Speaker.
Has leave granted?
No, well,
not granted.
They don't even want to know the difference. Well, table or not about the potato cod, we know these guys are prepared to mash the recreational and commercial fishing industry. They don't know fish, they don't know fishing, they don't know boats. Well, unless they're full of illegals, they do. We have the Environment Minister out there trying to sell their Coral Sea lockout, saying mum and dads aren't going to take their tinny 300 k's out to sea. Well, most of them don't take tinnies anywhere. If the Environment Minister got time to go and look in the Mackay Marina, for instance, he wouldn't find tinnies actually docked there, but very sophisticated and expensive craft that are capable of going out on 5-day fishing trips out beyond 300 k's. In North Queensland, we have charter fishing companies that take every day people out to iconic and remote fishing locations for days at a time, places like Marion Reef, which Labor is going to shut down under these marine parks. And if the Environment Minister consulted with the fishing industry, he would know that. But instead, he's too busy sending away to the Acme company for the latest contraption to catch the latest roadrunner that the Greens are telling him to catch. And just like Wile E. Coyote, everything Labor has touched ends in disaster. This
Order.